So in question 5, we're given a graph. Just notice the graph says h of x. We're talking about fx. I think it's safe to assume this is talking about fx. So we've got the graph of fx and we need to perform these transformations on it. So first of all, for a, y is mod f of x. So I'd start off by just sort of dotting out f of x. Okay, so when we take the modulus, basically any value that was negative, that was below the curve, gets reflected up. So anything that was already above the curve can stay there, and then we're just going to reflect up. This point here was 0, minus 5. That's going to get reflected up to the point 0, 5. This point here, which was 2, minus 6, just that minus 6 becomes plus 6. So make sure we are labelling all of the points really clearly. And then this part here gets reflected up there. We had 3 points, A, B and C. And this point A stays as minus 4, 3. So for part B, I'd start off with the same kind of thing, the dotted f of x. And this time we're looking at y equals f of mod x. So if we're taking the modulus of x, before we apply the function to it, x being put into the function will only ever have a positive value. And so while the function could return a negative value, it would be the same as this. So it's a reflection in the y-axis. So our points on the axis there, 0, minus 5 is exactly the same point. This point here, 2, minus 6 is exactly the same. And I would get, if I put the x value minus 2 into f of x, that would return the same value as f of 2, which is minus 6. Okay, now as it happens at this point, minus 4, 3 doesn't go anywhere. Basically, when x is minus 4, I'm going to get the same value as when x is 4. So that point doesn't appear under this translation. Okay, part C, I would do it in 2 parts. So first of all, I would be looking at f of x plus 3 and recognise that this is a translation to the left by 3 units. So where I'm basically just going to subtract 3 from each of my x coordinates. Let's shift it this way. So the point minus 4, 3 becomes minus 7, 3. The point 0, minus 5 becomes minus 3, minus 5. And the point 2, minus 6 becomes minus 1, minus 6. So I would have minus 3, minus 5, minus 1, minus 6 there. What's really important here is that you've labelled the coordinates. That's what we're really looking at. And then when I'm looking at multiplying that by 2, all of the y coordinates move by 2. So the point A becomes minus 7 and then 6. So A minus 7, 6. B is, it was minus 1, minus 6. B becomes minus 1, minus 12. And the point C becomes minus 3, minus 10. Minus 3, minus 10. And then we sketch that in. So again, the key thing is that you have written the coordinates and identified the transformation of each of these coordinates on your graph.